All right, welcome. I'm gonna do a short stream tonight. Kind of a short stream tonight, just maybe an hour at the most, because I'm starting after midnight where I am. But I know there's a lot of insomniacs or night owls on TikTok, so I figured I might pop in for just a little bit. If anybody would like to support the live, feel free to press the like button and invite friends. Thank you so much for joining. We'll see if we can get any interesting conversations tonight. Just maybe for an hour at the most, I think. Hopefully. Got any questions how we know the Earth is a globe? Maybe I can help you learn, or if you disagree, we can have a chill, friendly debate about it. Or if you got a perspective I've never heard, maybe I can learn. That's cool too. I had Flatzoid do a React live stream to one of my videos. I released the video on TikTok as a series of 3, but on YouTube I released it as just one video with 3 different chapters in it. And the React stream that Flatzoid did was kind of a dumpster fire. He did make the suggestion that he wanted to debate me. And that's one of the reasons why I watched his live stream, of course, but I'm willing to debate him, so I was trying to get in touch with him. Now I'm trying to arrange something with Modern Day Debate. But I tried to confront Flatzoid on what a bad reaction he did. And he just wouldn't acknowledge it at all. Anyone talk about the turtles ad nauseum yet? Turtles ad nauseum. Oh, it's turtles all the way down? I've heard someone reference that once or twice as a joke. I haven't had anyone mention that seriously yet. But I almost want to show you guys a 2-minute clip, 2 or 3-minute clip of Flatzoid's react to my video, because it was so bad. It was awesome to behold. I don't know if you guys are gonna believe it if I just tell you. You'd have to see it. Let's see. Oh, I don't have a way to play audio. Man. I should have thought of that first. Because I've got I'm recording this stream on my iMac here, and so the audio is routed a certain way, and if I tried to play the audio so that you guys could hear it, then that might mess up with the recording. I don't know. But I do have it on my YouTube. Let's see. I'll show you on my YouTube, and if you guys are curious, you can go look it up later. So my YouTube is linked to from my TikTok profile. And let's see. So, if I go to my channel, if you scroll down, I have a playlist here called Flat Earth Debate Clips. And if you go to the bottom of that playlist right now, there's a 2-minute 44-second video, Flatzoid's perspective, can't hear, if so. Just watch that, because it's like, it is awesome to behold. And I did not even do any editing on this. I didn't need to. Like, normally in my clips, you guys, if you've seen it, like, I'll take a clip from a TikTok live or whatever, and I'll add a little bit of commentary of my own and cut out some unnecessary bits. This is just a pure, unedited 2-minute, 44-second nugget of gold. I did not need to touch it at all. All I had to do was clip it and re-upload, because it really speaks for itself. It is awesome. So, just wanted to... I actually wanted to play it for you guys, but I'd forgotten that I have audio limitations here. Maybe I'll try to address that at some point. So let's see if there have been... Welcome, everybody. There's a lot of people joining now. Explain how the Panama Canal exists. It's a 100 miles flat. Actually, the curvature is accounted for with the Panama Canal. So, I mean, if you think it's like not, if it somehow contradicts the Earth's curvature, then you have to support that claim. Pictures and books are the foundation of our perception of truth. Thank God for content creators. The foundation of our perception of truth. I'm trying to figure out like exactly what you're trying to get at there. It's hard to tell if you're a flat earther or a glober. So, anybody got questions? How we know the Earth is a globe? I actually, the idea of debating Flatzoid on modern day debate, like that'll be, honestly, I think in my entire life, if we can arrange that, I think it will be the first formal debate I have ever been in my entire life. I've had countless informal debates, you know, between friends or between strangers, obviously online here. I'm a very, I guess, a pretty seasoned debater when it comes to informal conversations, but like, awakening, the fact that the canal has locks would only support the globe model. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, because of tides, and literally all science and observation proves globe. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah. So what I was saying about Flatzoid, it'll be my first formal debate ever. And the thing is, like, I am actually getting a little tiny bit of nerves, and I'll tell you why. It's not because I am afraid that he's going to prove me wrong. There's no way he's going to prove me wrong. I know what I know, and I know it very well. I'm not scared of that at all. Not even a tiny, tiny bit. But I am scared that I might, like, say something dumb if I, like make a mistake, basically. Slip up and say something dumb. Or if he presents a topic that I don't know about. I guess, you know, they try to control for that by setting the topic beforehand, and then, you know, you're not really allowed to stray from that topic, so I have a chance to research if it's something I haven't. But anyway, it's just this, you know, fear I have. Like, if he brings up a topic and I have to say, I don't know about that, I've never looked into it, then we had Black Knight up here on stream like last week or whatever. He's a very seasoned formal debater. I think he's actually going to school for that or something. And he said that if you have to admit that you don't know something in a formal debate, then it basically completely undermines your credibility. Like, basically, it gives the impression that you just don't know what you're talking about. So you basically lose. And obviously, that's not true in informal debates. In informal debates, that's almost like critically necessary. And I've said it before on this stream, like, it saves you from embarrassment, you know? If you don't know something, just say so. Like, not everybody, nobody knows everything. And so there's no shame in admitting ignorance about a certain topic. Um, I've admitted ignorance, um, and that's, to me, that's a critically important, like, basically pressure escape valve, in the in conversations, like, to de-escalate or to make it non-threatening, like, to avoid that embarrassment. And if you're not allowed to use that in formal debate, then it's kind of like, ooh, that's, an environment that I haven't encountered before. So basically, one of my safety mechanisms will be taken away. Now, I think I'll probably do okay. But I'm never going to be Michael Toon or Bob the Science Guy. I'm never going to be a predator in a debate. Like one of those people who just goes, for the jugular and totally slays their opponent. Like, I'm not going to be that kind of person. I don't want to make the debate embarrassing for my opponent any more than I want it to be embarrassing for me. I just don't want to have that kind of conversation. And you guys know I've never wanted that. I've said it many times here. Debating is about having a game plan. Always bring every topic back to your winning point. Yeah. Yeah. Nobody knows we know what we are told. Oh, okay. I gotta catch up on comments here. It's about how gravity works. It is pulled to a central point that swells around the center. That's why most objects in space are, at the very least, semi-spherical. Yeah. Spheroidal is perhaps the technical term there. Nobody knows flat, round, or other. So that's not correct. We do know. So you can't discern truth from other people? Yeah, so like, we do have photos of the Earth. This is something that I always have to ask if flat earthers are going to deny the photos. Okay, what are your criteria for determining whether a photo is real or fake? Because I think that flat earthers, their criteria is whether or not it denies their worldview, which is a begging the question fallacy. So it's on the flat earther to tell me what their criteria are for determining whether a photo is real or fake, so that we can, and they have to say it ahead of time, and then we can provide, find and provide a photo that would meet those criteria, if they are reasonable criteria. But we've never even gotten that far, because anytime I ask that, they're just like, yeah. Try to sideswipe the conversation or whatever. Not possible to have someone be embarrassed on this topic. I mean, yeah. It's really not more. It's like, I don't expect Flatzoid to bring up anything that I don't know about, really, unless it's some specific niche trivia. There's lots of that I don't know. I've spent years knowing about flat Earth, but not actively researching it or studying it or debating or talking or anything. Whereas he's spent all those years, like, doing the exact opposite. So it's like he knows a bunch of trivia that I don't. And there's also the problem of communication, and like yeah, so there's still reasons that I feel like it could be a problem, but I don't know. Yeah. Let's see. I can accept the Earth as a globe, but you'll never convince me the moon isn't green cheese. There you go. Well, does it even look green? It looks gray. Flat Earth doesn't make any sense. If it was true, you wouldn't be arguing it. I'm not sure what that was in reply to. You don't need a photo of the Earth to prove we live on a globe. Yeah, right. All you need to do is look at sunset and then look at time zones. It's how you communicate. People can actually be respectful, like Peter. Oh, thank you. I try. I do fail sometimes, and in fact, I kind of got triggered by the when Flatzoid reviewed my video. He did such a bad job, and like he strongly implied, and three of his guests just about stated outright that I was a liar due to their own mistake. And that kind of triggered me, and so like I did kind of come in hot a little bit with him, and then I had to kind of pull it back. So I do make mistakes. I'm trying. The only way to stop osmosis is freeze water. This is why this guy is always ice blue. What? Zip? Are you being serious? Are you a flat earther? Are you talking about the firmament? That's not correct. Flat, round, cube, we may never know. Sam Korea, are you asking me if I'm a flat earther or a glober? I'm a glober. Doug, it's round and we, he's talking to Doug. It's round and we do know. Yes, I agree. Oh, yeah, I guess he was joking when he said flat, round, cube, we may never know. At some point, the teachers have to take responsibility for the perceived knowledge of the students. Like how much they absorb. Well, there's a lot of factors that go into how much a student absorbs of the knowledge. Not all of those factors are inside the teacher's control. I mean, that's just straight up. So like, yes, a lot of teachers do, a poor job. So if they're failing in a factor they can control, and you can point to that, yeah, for sure, call them out. But I'm just saying, it's not all the teachers. There is no curvature. There is. What do you suppose you'll get from this debate? Honestly, audience, I hate to sound crass, but I've only got like 100 subscribers on YouTube. All of my subscribers or followers are on TikTok, basically, which is kind of weird to me. I've never used TikTok before, like, this past year. I've been on YouTube since 2011. I don't post a lot on YouTube, but like I did post a huge video debunking flat Earth back in 2019, and it was just crickets. Like I got some globers who responded to it. And I don't think one single flat earther gave me any feedback on that. Not one. Which honestly was like frustrating and disappointing, and it kind of made me just try to move on. And that's why it took me all this time. Well, one reason, there were several reasons, but that's one reason why it took me all this time before I started reposting clips of that on TikTok. Anyway, let's see. Well, I'll tell you what, I didn't expect perfection, but you have me thinking a lot more. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. How can I see ships out at sea miles away with binoculars? No curvature? That's not correct, Sam Korea. Let's see. Hull down. This is what I always show on my live. You may have seen it before if you've been on my live before, but let's just take a look. You ever seen something like this where the ship disappears from the bottom up? That's curvature. And you can wriggle, you can cry, you can gnash your teeth, you can come up with all kinds of BS to explain this, but that's curvature, period. So, you know, maybe use something a little better than binoculars at sea and you'll see it. Let's see, catching up on comments. I mean, teachers, scientists, and astronauts did not keep in step with technology. I have empirical evidence to share. I tried to share it once before on a Flat Earth website, and they blocked me immediately because I used the word curvature 3 times. The guy got so upset. Holy crap. Sam Korea, this is not waves. These, yeah, there are small waves, but not waves tall enough to obscure half the boat. That's nonsense. Not unless, you know, the camera is like below those waves, but it's clearly not. Like, who is your target audience? People either are delusional or don't care about this topic. This guy's saying, bring me up, bro. Do you have a request to join button? Here, let me see if I can... I don't have an invite button on you. Guy Prince Music, I don't know how to... I mean, I don't see a way to invite you. Trying to catch up on comments here. By the way, guys, I'm not going to go too long tonight. Got a late start, and I'm gone for about 20 minutes. I might go like 30 or 40 more minutes. So, just mentioning that. Risky saying that's fake. You're saying this right here is fake? Oh, hey, Loki. Or, T. Loki. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I assume Loki. How's it going? How am I able to see ships that are 12 plus miles out? Well, there's several factors. There's observer height, there's hidden height of the object, there's refraction, and there's misinformation sometimes. Anyway, I saw the moon illuminated at an angle that suggested the sun was below me. I looked behind. Oh, Risky says I'm obviously not LMFAO. Were you being sarcastic or something? I'm sorry. I guess I'm not catching it. I thought the Earth was supposed to curve 8 inches every mile. Well, did you not hear what I just said? There's observer height, hidden height of object, atmospheric refraction, and often misinformation. Those are 4 factors you have to take into account before you can say that something is violating the principles of the globe. So, I mean, until you do that, none of your arguments are going to make any sense. There's no curvature over the ocean. You can see ships that... Then how are we not seeing the bottom of this boat? You have yet to explain that. Loki says, I'm good. Had an argument with an atheist the other day. Oh, really? It's frustrating since they were hell-bent on removing religious freedom. Yeah, there are a few of them that I've heard suggest that. There's no such thing as... Okay, Sam Korea, you could just make assertions all you want. Nobody's going to listen to you. You're not zooming in. You think zooming in is gonna? Are you talking to me, TikTok division? Or are you talking to Sam Korea? Because there are waves. You make no sense. You got to do it on flat land. Uh, Not sure what you're saying there. Guy Prince music, I figure it must be something related to TikTok. I don't know. I'm pretty sure my settings are good. I've had guests on my live all the time, so I don't know. I really would just be guessing. I have no idea. I'm sorry. So, oh wait, I have a guest request. Oh, from Guy Prince Music. All right. Let's see.
I just figured it out. Are you there? I
Uh-oh.
just figured it out, bro.
I oh boy.
I'm old.
Give me 1 second,
Can
guys.
you
My
hear me?
audio just flipped out.
Okay, sure.
Sorry about that. That was a catastrophe. Okay. I'm sorry. There were like a few seconds there where I didn't even realize my audio was cut out. So you might have said something and I missed it. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Thanks. I mean, it was me. I finally found the button that I needed.
Good.
So I wanted to share a because this is a topic where it's really easy for people to feel like, oh man, that person's stupid or that person's ridiculous
Oh yeah.
or that person, how can they possibly believe that? I mean, it's that kind of a thing. And
Yeah,
I
very much so.
remember when I first started approaching this, I thought that, wow, these are weird, bizarre thoughts. But then I started to investigate a little bit. I started to do a deeper dive into what flat, and I hope I don't want to offend anybody, but flat earthers think in terms of, what is the reason that they believe that this this planet that we live on, or this, you know, plane that we live on, is indeed flat. What is the reason that they believe that um, an entire world governments would conspire in a conspiracy to hide this? And then what would motivate, now this one I understand a little bit better, what would motivate NASA to fake a moon landing? Um, I think they could do that for political reasons, just to try to, supersede the Russians. But I don't,
Yeah.
but I don't necessarily think they've done that. And so I ask all those questions, and I say to myself, we don't need to disrespect people that have this view, because there are reasons that they think this way. And so, I'm a minister. I'm a retired minister. I mean, I'm 66, so I've spent 50 years in the Word of God, and yet many flat earthers, and this is something I don't understand, and I appreciate you letting me ramble a little bit, but one thing I don't understand is why flat earthers think that the flat Earth view is more consistent with the biblical scriptures. I don't
Yeah.
see that. I
Yeah,
don't
me
see
neither.
that at all. I mean, I see references to he spread it out underneath, and all this kind of stuff, but there's a lot of there's a lot of descriptions in the Bible that are that are symbolic, or that are, um, what's the word you want to use? I mean, it's like David, when David said, "I've been a sinner from the womb," and stuff like that. Was a
Like a figure of speech.
statement. It wasn't necessarily a statement. Yeah, that's how he felt about himself. It's not necessarily a fact. And so you have to know how to read the scriptures in order to understand what it's saying. And so
Sorry,
anyway,
I'm just
so
looking at
I
a
say
comment
all
here.
that.
Truth is back. That is not correct. There is nowhere in the Bible that says glass dome. You are literally misquoting the Bible. Stop it.
There's nowhere in the Bible that it says what now?
Glass dome. He says he's saying
No,
that it
I'm
says
I'm
glass dome somewhere.
oh no, okay, well he's not talking to me then. So anyway, so I with that respect, and with that desire not to just poo poo on a lot of people that feel a different way, I took a walk down to a pond that's by my house. And this was about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And you know how oftentimes we'll see the moon and the sun in the sky at the same time. It doesn't happen all
Yeah.
the time, but it happens a lot. And so I'm sitting on a bench, and I'm looking. I think it must be to the east. And I see the moon up in the sky at about maybe 20%. I don't know what the angle would be. And I look at the angle of the moon that is illuminated, and it
Yeah.
is the bottom right portion of the moon that's illuminated. And so
And
I
it's
say to
pointing
myself,
directly
okay,
toward the sun.
well, that's what I'm saying. I said, okay, well, then the
Yep.
source of light, the source of light must be, obviously behind me, and it must be pretty low. Well, I looked
Yeah.
behind me, and I saw the sun, and it was low on the horizon.
Yep.
And I said, well, now hold up. How can, if the earth is flat, why is this portion of the moon illuminated? And why is the earth in the exact position it would need to be in order to illuminate that portion of the moon? And it just added up that I am on if you think of the curvature being left to right or right to left, I'm on the left side of the curvature. And so I'm seeing the moon illuminated on that bottom right portion. And when I look back, I see the sun barely on the horizon behind me. It makes perfect sense that I was on a globe. I was on a globe. I'm sorry if I
So,
got too if I got too
that's all
preachy. I'm
right. I
sorry.
appreciate what you're saying. I'm
Yeah.
just looking at this. Truth is back is saying Job 37:18. He was kind of spamming it. Um, it says, "Can you, like him, spread out the skies hard as a cast metal mirror?" That's English Standard Version. Now, I want to point something out about this passage in context.
Right.
All of Job is poetry, almost all. And like, there's only a few parts of it, very small parts, that are prose instead of poetry. Um, Almost certainly these are not verbatim what the people were saying. Now, it is the word of God. I'm not denying plenary
Right.
verbal inspiration here. I'm just pointing out it's poetry, okay? Um, and in context here, this is Elihu proclaiming God's majesty. Can you, like him, spread out the skies hard as a cast metal mirror? Now, there's like several layers going of what's going on here. First of all, Job is poetry back and forth between different characters in a narrative. Okay, so not every verse that you find in Job is going to be something God is saying. Okay, some of them are
Right.
words coming from a character in a story who could be wrong. You know, the Bible, inspired by God, is faithfully reporting what a
Like
person is
like
saying,
his
and that
like
person might be
his
wrong.
his friend his
Yeah.
Exactly. His friends were wrong. That's the narrative of the story. His friends were
Yeah,
wrong.
in fact, God explicitly says, "You have not spoken of me what is right, like my servant Job has." He's explicitly saying that certain verses in the book of Job are incorrect. And I don't have the verse off the top of my head for that, but it's got to be in the
Right.
last few chapters here. Um, yeah,
Peter,
my anger, this is Job 42:7. My anger burns against Eliphaz the Temanite and his two friends, for you have not spoken of me what is right, as my servant Job has. God is
right.
saying that Eliphaz was wrong in this argument. So there is theology, there is teaching, there's all kinds of stuff coming from the mouth of Eliphaz and his three friends, or his two friends, that are wrong. Now Elihu was kind of a middleman. He did not get rebuked by God, but we don't have an endorsement from God on the words of Elihu either. So,
Right.
I mean, and this was totally beside the point, you know? Why would anyone correct Elihu on his cosmology when his point was theology? Okay? He was just saying God is great. That's true. Second of all, it could be phenomenological, as many
You're
flat earth
lagging a little
verses
bit.
are.
You're lagging
Oh,
just
okay.
a tad. Well, anyway, well, Peter, here's how how I have learned to look at these things when you know modern people look at the scriptures from long ago and they say, well, there's no way that could have happened or that could have happened or scientifically that doesn't uh, make sense, this, that, or the other. Or why didn't God say this? Or why didn't he say that? Um,
Truth is, Beck, you
God,
need to
God,
retype that instead of just copying
well,
and
yeah,
pasting to spam because you're
God is,
saying plasms instead of
well,
psalms.
well, God is, I don't know what, I'm not, I'm sure whatever happened is funny. I'll have to look back.
I'm
But
sorry.
God is none of the scriptures to communicate to people thousands of years ago. These things were written
Right,
not for our modern audience to satisfy
right,
our need to talk about DNA and all and genders, and there must be 50 genders. It's not written to us to understand all of that stuff. It's written to help us understand God and his role in our creation and his desire to have a relationship with us
right,
and his willingness and his action in giving his son as a sin sacrifice so that we could have a relationship with him. Now, I'm not trying to get too religious there at the end. What I'm trying to say is that the message that people criticize today as being unscientific, if it were scientific, it would be gobbledygook to the people of hundreds of years ago.
right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, there's something I posted on my TikTok profile a little while ago. I'm just going to show it real quick. Uh,
I'm gonna follow you, by the way, bro.
oh, thanks. I'll follow you too.
And if you like singing and country music and stuff like that, I do other stuff, Lionel Richie. I even do some Billie Eilish, man. Give me a follow. Guy Prince
Oh,
Music.
wow. All right, so it seems like kind of what you were saying here. These are things the Bible doesn't care about. All
There
the
you go.
digits of pi, and we have a reference here, 1 Kings 7:23. Solomon made the sea of cast metal. It was round 10 cubits from brim to brim, and a line of 30 cubits measured its circumference. So how much does that leave off the circumference? If you
Mhm.
take that as a precision measurement, it leaves off 0.14 cubits, whatever, measurement cubits are.
Hey, Peter. Hey, Peter. And yet there are people that would refuse to have faith in God based on that one thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, ultimately, deep down, they're just looking for a reason, which is,
Yeah. You're right.
Anyway, but the other thing that the Bible one other thing the Bible doesn't care about is how everything looks from space.
There you go.
There's Joshua 10:13. This is a verse that flat earthers cite all the time because they think that it's describing what it looks like from a God's eye view or an astronaut's eye view, but it's not. It's just saying from a human point of view on ground level, the sun stood still and the moon stopped until the
There
nation
you
took
go.
vengeance on
There you go.
their enemies.
There you go. That's it.
It's I mean, they experienced the phenomenon in real life
Yep.
while they were on the surface of the earth chasing the enemies of Israel, and it was a real thing that happened, and they experienced it, and they described
Exactly.
what they experienced. The sun stood still and the moon stopped until they took
Exactly
vengeance
right.
on their enemies. That's not a cosmological statement at all. It's
Right.
not a scientific, you know, class on earth science or anything. It's just a historical statement. That's what they observed.
Yep.
So,
I love it.
yeah.
And if they had said more scientifically accurate things, then we would accuse somebody of planting that in the scriptures. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, God was very wise in what he included and didn't include in scripture. And
Right.
we have to be able to approach it with a certain level of um, not necessarily credulity, but at least fairness, If you want to
Fair,
critique a
fairness.
work, you have to be able to ask the question honestly,
Yep.
what is the author actually trying to say here? What are they actually trying to say? So,
Peter,
you know,
that's really good. And honestly, not that I haven't in past times made fun of people with extraneous views of life. I've been guilty of that. But in this issue, I've learned that there are many respectable people that have a different view than we do, and 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 I think the only way for us to be able to, I won't say come together, because it's not a contest of, I mean, it's not 50% this, but there is a truth to be found. But for us to love each other, care about each other as we work toward coming to understanding, does that make
you know,
sense?
yeah. I'm sorry, I'm still looking at comments here. Pedro No Cloud. I have a little bit of history with Pedro, and I happen to know because of an interaction that we had earlier that Pedro is not a Christian and does not believe in that the Bible is the Word of God. So, Pedro, let me ask, how many times have you read the Bible? How long have you studied it? And where do you think you get off telling me what is or is not blasphemous when it comes to the Bible? Respectfully.
And Peter, I hope you don't mind me adding this. I'm kind of perplexed that Pedro, if he is not a believer in God,
Well,
why
I don't know if he's a believer in God.
would he
He may
believe in a
be. I'm
flat
just
Earth anyway?
so
Okay,
Pedro,
I mean,
I asked you
yeah,
how long you had studied the Bible. I didn't ask you how long you had been Christian in previously. There's a lot of people who call themselves Christians or who are raised Christians or whatever, but they don't actually study the Bible. Okay? And clearly you are one of them, or you were. If I told you, would it matter is the real question. Um, well, yes, to some degree, because there must be some reason why you're so severely distorting the Word of God or Scripture. And, if you haven't studied the Bible very long, then that would be the reason. Virgil is saying a lot of wrong things here about the Bible and stuff, but it seems like he's just here to trigger. So, uh, yeah, I'm not going to bother responding to him. The Bible has no mention of space. Well, it also has no mention of the shape of the earth, except phenomenologically. Um, Virgil, nice try. I said I wasn't going to respond to you. So, yeah, thank you for your input, Guy Prince um, music. Um, I might have to call it quits soon. I was just planning a stream for a little less than an hour here, and it's going on 46 minutes now. Uh, it does not say CL9 is saying it does. It says it's a circle with four corners. It doesn't say that. It says it uses the phrase the four corners of the earth to mean everywhere. It's talking about points on a compass or corners of a map or something. That's not talking about the shape of the earth. That's just, like I said before, you have to approach it with fairness. Honestly ask the question, what is the author trying to say? You are not doing that. You are you are doing basically hostile eisegesis. That's what you're doing. And they're just whining. 1 Kings 7:23 through 26. JJ is asking me to read that again. Was that the passage about the sea of cast metal that Solomon made? 1 Kings 7:23 through 26.
Anyway, Peter,
Yes.
I wanted to say good night, brother. I appreciate all you guys and all your callers. And God is good, and He's has a great creation. And I just hope that people will see this and be drawn to Him, to have a relationship with Him. Anyway, love y'all. Peace out.
Have a good night.
You too, bro. Bye bye.
So, JJ, I pulled up 1 Kings 7:23 through 26. Then he made the sea of cast metal. It was round 10 cubits from brim to brim and 5 cubits high, and a line of 30 cubits measured its circumference. Under its brim were gourds for 10 cubits, compassing the sea all around. The gourds were in 2 rows, cast with it when it was cast. It stood on 12 oxen, 3 facing north, 3 facing west, 3 facing south, 3 facing east. Then the sea was set on them, and all their rear parts were inward. Its thickness was a handbreadth, and its rim was made like the brim of a cup, like the flower of a lily. It held 2,000 baths. So, what was the question about that? Pedro's just raging now, using all caps and stuff. Guys, you can give a man a fish and feed him for a day, or you can teach a man to fish. No, that's the wrong phrase. You can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I can tell you the answers to your questions about why the Bible does not say that the earth is flat. But until you learn proper exegesis and stop using eisegesis, you're just going to keep coming back to the same conclusions. You're just going to keep going in circles. And like it's exhausting. I don't I don't have any interest in like babysitting you on this. You got to if you care about the Bible at all, then you will approach it with fairness and stop eisegeting. But that's just, I mean, we all know that's not going to happen. So did JJ say what he was trying to? Spinning ball is a deception with a purpose. Biblical cosmology was always the truth. There's so many wrong assumptions in that statement that I don't even know where to begin. Pedro, I did tell you the truth. You didn't accept it, therefore you are asking to babysit you. You just keep whining with more questions. So calm down and I never won one debate against you. Yeah, because you're such an impartial judge. He hangeth it on nothing. You know, a synonym for nothing, well, there's two senses of the word nothing, okay? There's not anything, and there's nothingness. So that verse, I mean, I'm not an expert on the Hebrew, but when I read it in English, I am not at all certain that it does not mean that he hangs the earth on nothingness, which is actually, kind of suggesting space in my mind. I don't want to eisegete on my end, but I don't see a conflict there. Well, Pedro, I didn't say I wasn't biased. I mean, I am a little biased. Everybody's a little biased. I try to overcome my bias. Thank you, Apple Swarm. It's okay to learn from observing the universe because God put it there for us to study. Thank you. Mic drop. Excellent point and excellently stated. All right. Let's see. How long have I gone? 53 minutes. I should probably go, guys, especially since it's turning into just kind of a slap fight here in the comments. So we got flat earthers and atheists just kind of duking it out. I mean, guys, just look up conflict thesis. I've talked about this before. I have a video about it. Look it up, please. Look up conflict thesis. You are all just you're all just yeah. So Mezzo, I'm so sorry. I was planning to quit now because it's past 1 in the morning where I am. So uh maybe if you see me alive again sometime, I'll have you on as a guest. And so, yeah, thanks for understanding. Thanks everybody for joining and for supporting. And yeah. Oh wait, did JJ end up saying why he wanted to read First Kings 7 again? I only see one comment from JJ. Maybe I missed it. Sorry. Moon landing is not fake. Oh, Mezzo says he was just going to back me up. Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Um, all right, guys. Well, I'm gonna call it quits. I hope y'all have a good night.